I'll call the meeting to order with the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is a meeting of the Hillsdale Borough Council on this 10th day of December, 2019. Notice of the time and place of this meeting has been provided to the Ridgewood News and the Record. A copy was posted on the bulletin board outside of this meeting room and provided to any interested parties. Please notify the municipal clerk for any disability requirements necessary for attendance at mayor and council meetings. The fire exits are located through the double doors to your left. Please silence all cell phones and beepers. Madam Clerk, could I have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Zaroka?
Yes, here.
Councilmember Escobar?
Here.
Councilmember Horvath?
Present.
Councilmember Lundy.
Here.
Councilmember Zagales?
Here.
Council President Pizzella?
Here.
Mayor Rucco?
Here. Okay. First order of business here is oath of office, the appointment of Hillsdale Fire Department Cadet Kaylee France. Kaylee, are you in the audience? I hear a yes. Ah, there she is. Okay.
Mr. Mayor, I don't know if you knew this, but the LaFrance family has 3 generations on the fire department. Ed LaFrance, her parents are both on the fire department. Her brother, and now Kaylee is joining the fire department. So the LaFrance family is phenomenal on this borough. I just wanted to say that.
I was aware that the LaFrance name was very much involved in the operations and successful operations of our Hillsdale Fire Department, because every time I get letters from the fire department,
Yes.
there's the name. So, okay. So, Kaylee, if you would repeat after me, read along, in case it may be.
Right hand, left hand on there. There you go.
I, Kaylee LaFrance,
I, Kaylee LaFrance,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will support the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
and to the governments established in the United States
and to the governments established in the United States
and in this state
and in this state,
under the authority of the people.
under the authority of the people.
I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all the duties
all the duties
of the office of Hillsdale Fire Cadet
of the office of Hillsdale Fire Cadet
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Kaylee. Okay, I am notified that we made an error. We gave the oath, but we have to have a motion to approve the appointment by the council. I don't think there's any chance that it won't be approved, but let's go through the formality. Do I have a motion to approve the appointment that we just made?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Someone tell Kaylee that she's now legally on the fire cadet. That brings us to an initial public comment period, which is time limited, new topics only, 1 topic per speaker. Would anyone at this time like to address the council? Sir, if you would come up and state your name and address.
Frank, Frank Mangano, 96 Buckland Road. I'm a member of the 50 Plus Club, and we're just curious to know if there's been any progress or anything that's happened since the resolution to have the we're looking for locations for the senior center or community center.
Go ahead.
So just last night, the borough engineer gave me a proposal. It's just a preliminary. Honestly, I haven't had a chance to look it over. So he made some suggestions. I don't want to discuss it right now, but I think by next meeting, we should be able to give you a little bit of feedback on it.
Okay. I think that's good. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else would like to come and address the council at this point? Yes, madam.
I'm Linda Titler. I'm from 104 Plymouth Road, and I've lived there with my family now for 18 years. I'm here to see if we could possibly amend our current tree ordinance because it's not being followed or enforced, and it hasn't been in a long time. And I'll give you a couple of incidences. When we first had moved in about 4 years, there was a contractor who came in down the street, and he had knocked down a house, and he leveled all the trees on that lot. And when I'm talking about trees tonight, I'm talking about beeches, mature and healthy beeches and oak trees that are in 70 to about 100 feet in height. So he leveled about up to 10 of those trees. He couldn't get the permit for the house because it didn't meet the height requirements. He scrapped that project, and that lot lay barren for like 10 years, no exaggeration.
What street was that?
Plymouth Road. So then another instance, my neighbor called or texted me, and she said, "Did you see what's happening behind our homes?" And I said, "No, what's going on? I'm on vacation. I don't know." And she said, "The neighbor is taking down numerous trees," and it was a Sunday, so there's nothing, we couldn't call the borough because the borough was closed. So I said, "I don't know what we can do about it." So that neighbor took down probably up to 8 huge mature trees at that time. And then that's been currently going on. Neighbors are taking down 4 and 5 trees where the current ordinance says 3 trees per calendar year. So the most current situation is somewhat across the street, we have a vacant house that just got bought by a contractor, which we welcome that very much because it looks like he's going to do a nice job. But immediately he came in and he took down 3 of the large oaks, a pine tree, a Japanese maple. And when I approached the tree service company, they said that they were going to take down the remaining trees in the back. And I said, "Well, there's an ordinance. You can't do more than 3 trees. So an hour later, the contractor came and he said he was going to be taking down the remaining trees in the back. And he said that one of the trees was 1 tree where it really is 5 trees. There are 3 stumps, and 2 of those stumps have 2 trees coming out of them. So 5 beech trees are about 100 feet in height, and then it's all the way in the back of the lot. There's an oak tree on the right. So he wants to take those down. When I told him there was an ordinance, he said, "I'll take them down then in January." So that is when I called Tony Merlino to ask him what exactly was the verbiage on this ordinance, and it is per calendar year. So it doesn't make sense. So you can cut down 3 trees in December, and then in January, you can cut down another 3.
I think I'm looking at the council, right? I mean, that technically fulfills, you could take 3 in December and then 3 in January.
Calendar year means, obviously, calendar
Yeah.
year means calendar year.
Right.
But in any, I think, in any 24-month period,
It's only 6.
it still would only be 6, I think, unless I'm somehow misperceiving.
No, that's right.
So, I agree, it's galling to have 3 trees taken down on December 31st and 3 trees taken down on January 1st. However, in the 24-month period, it's 6 is 6, whether it's calendar or...
But here's the situation, well, here's another situation, that the impact is even bigger on us, is because the people directly across from us also took down within less than 2 years 3 huge oaks. So right now, the impact, when we look out, we have 6 huge oak trees down, a pine tree, there was a dogwood. It's like this big hole. And,
Well, wouldn't they have complied with the ordinance?
but they did, yes, they did. But I'm just saying, so now this guy, he complied with the ordinance, but he's pushing the limits. Now, this is a quick flip. He's just looking to come in, do things quickly and get out. And the law is cleared, other than these trees that are way back in the corner. There's really no need to take them down. But I would like to see that it gets switched to at least a 12-month period, so people can think about what they're doing, see the impact. Contractors really don't care, but even neighbors, sometimes I've had a tree company tell me that a woman sat there and cried because her husband had 4 trees taken down. When she came home, she couldn't even believe the impact of it. And it can become very emotional because you do get attached to these trees. So I just think in a 12-month period, you can give it some thought, and contractors can't just come in, level things and just be on their way. They're leaving the neighborhood. They're not living there like we are. So I would kind of like to see that it would be amended to say the 12-month period. Neighboring municipalities have it worded like that. I spoke with Tony Merlino. He said he would, support the amendment, and I would like to see that people maybe need to get a permit to make sure that, the town is on board with what their plans are. I mean, we have it's like a park-like area over there, and it's, within the 18 years we've been there, there are over 60 of these mature trees that have been cut down from all the neighbors, and there's a big impact, and I understand if they're dead or they're dangerous, but so I was just hoping that, you could consider taking a vote on that and maybe just rewording it and possibly making it,
We can always look at the way the code is worded. I don't know if it's going to change things dramatically to go from a calendar year basis to a rolling 12-month
Well, in this
basis.
instance, I don't even know if it can be enforced in this instance, but I would like to see those other trees being saved in this particular instance. And, I just said it just helps people to think things through, and it's not as drastic, at least, so there is a difference. So this case, he did this in November, so now this has to wait till the next November. The new owner will come in, they might love those trees, and those trees will not come down. They might hate them, and then I'll have to accept that those trees will come down. But I just feel that it's something that needs to be considered, because the ordinance itself, even as this calendar year, is not being enforced. When you have contractors leveling 10 trees at a time, right?
Question, go ahead, Frank, you were first, go ahead.
I know we're currently doing a draft tree ordinance that amends the current one. Do we have, and I'm sorry if I'm putting you on the spot, Mark, but I think we have in there that one of the changes was that you have to get a permit now to cut down a tree, and you're not allowed to just cut down a number, but...
Correct. I also, again, if someone is taking down a lot of trees on a Sunday, for example, it's a big project to take down 5 or 6 big trees. If that's happening on a Sunday, you can, of course, call the police.
Well, I was told that after the fact, but, and again, do we need that drama? I mean, shouldn't there just be an ordinance in place? I don't want to have me calling the police and having a big... Well, on a Sunday, yes, because that was done on purpose, because he knew what he was doing was wrong.
Not just the owner and the contractor. I'm actually just trying to locate a copy of the tree ordinance, so we have it in front of us while we speak. Is responsible to comply with the laws and get the appropriate permits. So if that's not happening, that's something of a bigger issue.
It's a compliance matter,
That's a compliance issue. I also, Council President Pizzella is correct. We're attempting to take the tree ordinance, which is really, at this point, part of our site plan and development ordinances, and make it a standalone and somewhat stronger ordinance. That's really our goal. But I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that the actual, what is in Chapter 310, and I see Chris is here, and I'm going to figure that I might be right about that. But we'll be very happy to take all of these things into consideration. And the other thing that we should sort of be aware of is that most towns that have a tree ordinance, they make exceptions for the number of trees within the footprint of the house, the proposed house, or the driveway, or proposed driveway. In other words, that doesn't count to your 3. So that may have been something that you've seen happening.
Say that again, though?
I see Chris shaking his head, so I might be wrong. I always rely on him.
With, our counsel's referring to Chris Detil, our borough engineer.
All right, thank you very much. Okay, it's okay, I'll sit down.
Let's try to get you.
On the particular case that she's talking about, where the contractor was going to take 6 or 7 trees down, she contacted our office. I was in town and went over. I know the contractor, and we stopped him, and he says he went back to 3 trees. If he tries to go back and take 3 more trees down, he's not going to get a building permit, because he's already started his work on the house. So that's the beginning of the permit, his limitation. I already lectured them, don't you dare come back and try to take these trees down. I'm telling you right now.
In this calendar year.
Yes.
Is that 111 you talking
It was the house, I think, across, he took the large tree down the front, and went to the back by the deck. I had stopped him that day. I don't recall, I just know it was in your neighborhood there. So we did abate the situation, and I know the contractor very well. So, basically, let him riot act in the street between the two of us, and I don't think he's coming back taking more trees down there. So if he does, there's a penalty schedule, and I told the developer the same thing, you take another tree down, now it's going to be 12 to 1 or 15, or whatever the schedule says. So if you want to do it, I'm here, I already know what you already did, I've already documented it myself. As for people on Sundays, yes, the police department can contact me via my cell phone. I'm around. My staff lives in Montvale, 10 minutes away. I have other staff nearby down in Maywood. Somebody will be here in 15 to 20 minutes. Certainly, I'll come here myself. I'm around on Sundays, even on Saturday. We have backup staff, so if there's a violation notice, this goes to the audience as well. Contact the police. We'll come out there, and then we will document the stumps. Then we document the stumps, the sizes, and then they get the penalty statement. That's what we do. We'll charge them a penalty. It's in the ordinance currently. Don't be shy to call us. I'm around all the time, so that's what we do.
The revised tree ordinance also has some language about 100-year-old trees, which I don't think the old ordinance addressed.
Correct. There's the concept of heritage or particularly important trees in the new ordinance that doesn't exist in the old ordinance.
That's going to be, I'm not going to speak as an attorney, but I believe it's going to be problematic going forward. It's like your house looks like it's historic. If it's not designated, it hasn't, it's not designated in the state record, it doesn't matter. I can burn the house down. It doesn't matter what you think it is. It's my house. Taking down a tree that may be historic, may be heritage, because I know from experience in other towns, it's a private tree. You can pretty much, you bought the property, you can do what you want with the trees, within the confines of the ordinance, of course. I don't know, you mark on that, of course. But as for one of the problems in the 1 year, 1 tree situation is I don't know when they might have taken it, unless they take a permit out, Frank, you're right. Currently, I don't know when the person first took the trees down, so I don't know when the clock starts for the 12 months. It's always been a difficult thing to do.
That's why people like calendar year.
Okay.
That's good. Right, Mark.
If you don't use calendar year, then the department has to keep track of the last tree taken down by every house.
Right.
And count 12 months. And that 12-month period will be different for every house in town.
Other municipalities have it.
the microphone, please.
Yes, other municipalities have it, and they're either able to enforce it or not. But calendar year, everybody knows, is January 1st to December 31st. And as pointed out, other than this very unique case, the truth is, in a 24-month period, 6 is 6. But it is much easier on enforcement if the enforcement runs calendar year instead of our building department having to remember the last time you did something on your property.
That's why you have a permit. She's having a permit, it's on file.
You have to come to the microphone if you're going to...
Yeah, we can't, we're unable to do that. Yes, you are absolutely correct. There's a permit, there's a document in the file, and there is the capacity to do this. But the department will, I'm sure, have some input about is the extra difficulty in that, which is, I can approve, worth it when in a 24-month period, 6 is 6, as I said. So it may be easier to enforce the other way. But I'm sure we'll get the input of the department and try to do the very...
Because so what you're saying is the gentleman you spoke to said he won't do anything until January 1st.
The gentleman I spoke to says he's not doing anything
anymore. And that's
I
the...
walked back there and I told him, no, you hit these trees, then it's a penalty, and it's 2 to 1 replacement. If you want to file a permit, go for a permit.
I think in the effort of moving the meeting on, we're getting too much into the
I was
weeds.
just hoping to salvage at least those trees as well, and I kind of disagree. I feel as if it's left, the people will wait a little bit. And sometimes the tree service companies are giving people deals. Oh, if you take down 5, I'll give you the deal for 3. You know, they're looking to make money. It's at the expense of our town, and it's upsetting to me, I'll tell you that.
Thank
So,
you.
Hope you can be good. Thank you.
Thank you,
for
Chris.
your time.
Anyone else? Okay, not seeing anyone else, we'll close the initial public comment period. I'm going to make a change to the agenda. We're supposed to go to adjourn to a closed session. I think in the effort of trying to get our professionals to give their report so that they don't have to wait around, why don't we just go straight to the professionals' report, and then we'll come back to the closed session. So, Police Department, Chief Francavilla.
Mayor and Council, Bob Francavilla, Police Chief. Before I give my report, I'd like to send out my thoughts and prayers to all the victims and families of the Jersey City shooting today, especially the police officer who lost his life during this tragic event. Terrible event. During the month of October, there were 90 dispatch shifts. There were 7 dispatch shifts covered by police officers, 1 of those for overtime. This past month, there were 250 motor vehicle stops and 11 criminal arrests. In November, my police staff assisted the high school with a lockdown and evacuation drill. These events occur at least 10 times a year, as per the state education guidelines. I'm extremely proud to report that Captain Sean Smith was invited back to instruct a risk management course at the FBI National Academy. So he did a great job with that, and I think he's going to be going back several more times for that. And great job by police personnel and the fire department for extinguishing the fire on Lincoln Terrace on the night before Thanksgiving. Luckily, there were no injuries, right? Structure still remained the same. So great job to the fire department on that. A Santa detail was conducted this past week in a ShopRite. I would like to especially recognize my trusted elf, Captain Sean Smith, and Councilman Horvath for organizing and photographing this charity event. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Josh Turry for doing the makeup for myself and the captain. And the time he donated for that. It was fantastic. You want to add anything, Councilman, to that?
I've never seen a better looking Santa.
All right.
Thanks for me.
Thank you. Sorry, Chief. After speaking to some of my crossing guards, they had a little concern about motorists not using their directional or signal lights at the intersections when they're crossing the kids. I just want to put a shout out to all the residents in town, if you're watching, to make sure you use your signal lights when you approach these intersections, especially during school time. It's for the safety of our kids and as well as our crossing guards. You know, not for nothing, but the crossing guard is the most dangerous job out there. So, please adhere to that warning. I would appreciate it, and my crossing guards would definitely appreciate that as well. I would like to say, as a closing chapter in another year, another successful year with the police department. I'm looking forward to working with our new borough administrator this year, Chris Tejan, who's sitting in the audience tonight. I wish everybody a happy and healthy new year, and that concludes my report. Any questions for our chief? Thank you, Chief.
Can I just, Chief, can I just add a footnote to that? I just want to thank you and the captain for doing the Santa event every year. This is the 5th year in a row that we've done it. And it's like everybody else in town, there are a lot of people who do voluntary things for the town, and they volunteer their time, their effort, their energy, and their love for the town. For 5 years in a row, the proceeds that were taken in from these events went to the food bank, and this year is going to various other charity organizations, so it's something that the police department should be very proud of. Their interaction with the community and their outreach program, I think, is just fantastic.
Thank you, I appreciate that. I know the toys that were donated from ShopRite are going to a good cause for kids with cancer, so, that is currently in the hospital, so, thank you. Thank you, Chief. Hillsdale Fire Department. Chief Kelly.
Good evening, everybody. Upcoming on Monday, we start Santa detail. We start at 6 p.m., Monday to Thursday, working our way on the east side of town to the west side of town. We do not go any later than 9 o'clock. If we finish that night's route before then, we'll finish early, but 9 o'clock's our latest time. We leave Friday open in case we have bad weather or any kind of fire call that slows us down. So anybody who wants to follow what we do live updates on Facebook as we go. So that's continuous. If you ask questions, I do my best to answer them as soon as I can, but that's a very good week. Once again, for our third year, we'll be collecting for the Hillsdale Food Pantry. We started this 2 years ago, and it's been an incredible success. The food pantry told us last year we kept them stocked through April. So, I mean, people are great. If you haven't done it yet, if you haven't come out and watched Sandy Detail, I invite you to come out. It's to see the kids come running out is really cool. To see the 85-year-old women come running out is even better. All right? And they're coming out with bags of food to give us as well as say hello to Santa. It really, really is a lot of fun to do, and it is our privilege to be able to do it. So my guys work really hard to get this done. They're already starting getting the truck ready because it's a lot of work getting that ready. And I have 3 different Santa Clauses this year, including one of our secret councilmen who's going to play Santa on Monday. He's very excited to do that. Stephen, thank you very much. You're going to do a great job. I can't wait.
So much for the secret Santa.
So it's very good that we get to do that. As the chief said, on the morning of Thanksgiving at 2:04 a.m., we got dispatched for a report of a house fire. Hillsdale Police, as always, were there in moments. We were aware before our arrival that it was a working fire, that we did have fire extending out of the windows on the left and rear of the structure. I can't say enough. I always do this. His guys are great. We work fantastic with the Hillsdale Police Department, and I always welcome all the help we get from them. I thank all our towns that came to help. We had Westwood, Rivervale, Wilkov Lake, and Park Ridge all came out to assist that evening. There were no injuries at all. Everyone was healthy. It was just the structure. We kept about 95% of the damage to the room of origin. And my guys did a great job, and I'm very proud of everything they did. On Thanksgiving, they didn't hesitate. They were out there quick, and they did their thing. So really just can't say enough about how great a job they did. I got to stand outside and watch them work. Not the greatest job, but, you know, those guys did great. What else do we have? We have the Chiefs Dinner coming up. I know a couple of members up here are coming to that. And we have reorg right after you on the 5th at 12:30. We'll start over there. We'll start swear-ins at 12:45. All right, Mr. Mayor, I'm sure you're coming. You can swear everybody in if you would like. Other than that, I think we're doing pretty good. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, just one question.
Yeah.
Are you sensitive to good looking as mine?
Before the makeup, yes. Sorry, they set me up for that. That's not my fault. Anybody else? Thank you, guys. Everybody have a great Christmas if I don't see you.
Thank you, Chief. Thank you. Borough Engineer.
I was just checking on the fire by the landfill. This is concerned, that's all. Anyway, good. Chris DeTille, Borough Engineer. The last month has been quite busy, actually, in town here. First of all, Habitat for Humanity, we've been vetting out the utility providers for that lot on Chestnut Street because there isn't utility services currently to that property. Bob Gallione had me scout that out. One thing we did notice, if you look at the photograph there, is for Mark's information. Apparently, the property owner in Washington Township has taken the back corner of the property and is now using that for a fenced playground area. Because we wish to give this property up, that person needs to vacate that immediately because they do not want to have any legal issues with claiming of the property by that property owner. There's case law on this, so Mark or somebody needs to really get onto this immediately. That all that equipment's got to go, that fence has got to be taken down before you give this property to the charity, because I don't want to see any problems with that. Because that stuff's sitting there, there's no way they're going to get a house on this property what's left over there, so.
And we don't know how long it's been sitting there?
I have no idea. I'd have to look at aerial photography. With Google Map, there's a Google Map is a place to look, but in any case, it's really got to be taken off immediately.
And that's a Washington Township resident.
That's what he basically looped back into the town property there, yeah. So I had no idea it was like that back then, but those types of I want to call it encumbrances is dangerous to the borough, actually, for any of our properties in the community. Anyway, that's the first thing, so I think that's the most important thing. The 2018 sidewalk project on Piermont Avenue is completed. We're just going to clean it up with the Department of Transportation with paperwork and get our $200,000 grant from the state to reimburse us. the barrier-free ramps and all the corner ramps at the counties. This has also been finished up for Piermont Avenue, as well as the community development grant that we had for $30,000 to do our own ramps. That's PA contractors. We're also doing reimbursement now with the county to get our monies back as well. So there's been a lot of paperwork chasing in the office for those. In terms of Centennial Field monitoring, as you know, we submitted a permit modification to the state about 115 days ago to reduce our testing frequency as well as intensity at the landfill for the gases, methane and other gases coming out of our past events. I happened to notice they were at 110 days, which they're given 90 days to complete their reviews. So I decided to give the agent a call down in Trenton, who told me that he hadn't even looked at the application package yet at 110 days. Normally, they have to basically be done by 90 days. So we had a nice lively talk about it. You know, he seemed to be okay. He looked at some of our information. He thought that our original permit was a little bit too steep for our landfill consistency. He said that he thinks for sure he'd be able to reduce a lot of what goes on up there in terms of testing. And his words are, there's nothing here. I go, that's what we've been trying to tell everybody for the last 15 or 20 years. So he was going to try to reach out to North Jersey enforcement to maybe back them off on our penalty, perhaps because he thought there was no reason for it. He said we hadn't had any reportable incidences up there of any types of discharges, so there was really no need for them to be so adventurous against the borough. Anyway, I don't know where it's going to go. That might work. It may not. I'm not sure how much power the permitting people have over the enforcement people. Anyway, so in any case, we just completed our fourth quarter testing for the methane. I just got the report today from my sub-consultants who are timely with that. That'll be sent down to the states shortly.
What's the deadline on that, to get that to the state?
60 days.
So that would be 60 days from the end of the year?
6 days from when they took the sampling.
So what are we talking about?
January, February, like that.
Okay.
Yeah, they know that. They know the testing pretty much, yes. Lincoln Avenue paving, Bob Galliano has been following up with Flake about that. We're still waiting to get the plans and specifications from the borough engineer to see if we can sort of ride on their coattails with their grant and get our side of the street done as well under their grant they received from the DOT. So that's that. Regarding the public service upgrades this last week, we had some issues with PS taking down large trees along the route they're not supposed to be on for their new 69 kV wires. We sent an email, stop the work. We're going to have to reconvene with public service to go over their route from the Dumont substation to Hillsdale's. We wanted to keep them on to the county road system and not go down any of our local streets, other than, say, Patterson Street. That's the only place we wanted them to park their wires. So I have not heard back from public service community relations yet on that. When I do, I'll let everybody know what that date is.
Do you think you can have them notify the people that will be impacted with their work, rather than them just showing up?
Absolutely. I'm absolutely surprised at community relations that they did that, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll take care of that with them, yes. We're going to have a meeting anyway before any more work's done with regard to taking trees down, so that's the situation in public service. We've also cleaned up the grants. As we say, the Veterans Park memorial is completed. Now the Legion can now seek reimbursement from the county for the county's share of that project. That's done. The contractor has been compensated. We're continuing to work on Memorial Field, Little Field. Thank you. Yes, the bid. Thank you. The bid. Yes, I showed it to Councilman DeRosa last night. Our sort of the draft plans on that, and it's moving along very well. We're going to hope to take bids in January for that project with the borough. There's been no information there on the. We did get the TAP grant for $1.3 million. That has yet to begin with the borough for improvements to Patterson Street and Hillsdale Avenue. Community development block grants. We did file an application last Friday to add an elevator for handicap accessibility to the second floor of the train station, as well as new bathroom fixtures at the Stony Brook Swim Club lap pool. If Patty wishes to proceed with a new bathroom there as well. So those applications were in last week. We only qualified for handicap accessibility. That's what we're qualified to receive funds for them. The community, you have the grant for $81,000 for Centennial Field, which will be voted on by the Board of Freeholders on December 23rd. That's the final approval, and we should get a contract probably in January, February, for that works, we can proceed with anything that wants, for any improvements up there as well, plus our own match. The borough did receive a $5,000 grant from the Department of Transportation for improvements to Hillsdale Avenue, Everdell Avenue, and Maplewood Avenue, which we had submitted this past July, so I congratulate the borough in that respect. We should be getting a contract from the state as well to sign and execute and return back to them. Frank, the 2020 Recreation Trails Grant Program is not open yet. We are staying in contact with the state on that almost on a monthly basis. We did put our name on the roster, so if the grant program comes out, we'll be notified to file the grants for that trail system we were talking about by the reservoir. And that's, one thing is not on here is we are progressing both the schematic design plans for the landfill, for the football and the turfing the fields, as well as for the senior community center as well. That's being moved along as well. Those are in the works. And that's my report tonight, council. Any questions?
Questions for Chris? No.
In that case, I wish everybody a wonderful Christmas and a great holiday this year. Hope everybody's good health and their families as well. I also hope that our police department never has to face what occurred today in New Jersey. Hope you guys, you take care of taking cats out of trees, finding people's dogs. As boring as that may be, I just pray that that's what I have to do in this community. So, thank you again.
Thank you, Chris. And for our borough attorney, do you need to take action to remove have the Washington Township resident remove their...
Well, I'm hoping a simple letter from the borough will do that.
Okay.
If it requires a stronger letter, I'd be
Okay.
happy to do so.
So the borough administrator would do the first step then?
Once we have everything staked out over there, and we know where he's over the line, and of course,
Okay.
no one can acquire borough property that way.
Okay. All right, good. And then we have a tax collector report, but that is usually, we usually don't have the tax collector here tonight. He is here tonight. Dave, do you wish to say anything at this point?
It's just my written report of the collections for the month.
Okay.
You should have it.
Okay. So that completes the...
Can we have a...
Okay, Billy's here. Billy, you're not on the agenda. Do you have a report, other than the hunting that you went through?
No, I'm home. I was nice and wet. Happy holidays to all of you and your families. Hope to enjoy a wonderful December. The downtown has been decorated. We're going to work on the Borough Hall hopefully tomorrow. We're at just about 5,000 yards of leaves this year. We've been around 5 times. This is the final time. This will be the 5th time, and that's the final pickup.
So residents need to have their leaves out by tomorrow?
The 8th of December, Sunday.
That was it?
That was the
That was
plan,
it.
yes. We had the snow last week, and now we're getting snow again overnight into tomorrow. So if we do any type of extension, it's just going to keep going, the way that the weather is looking for this year. One of our new trucks was supposed to be here. It's not. It'll be here next week. So I was out there yesterday talking with the gentleman. They had a couple of holdups, but it'll be here. So we'll have that for the winter season. That's it. Getting leaves done. Finishing up.
Okay.
We have one other new truck that came in, right? Just recently.
Last year, yeah.
The one you told me about.
Yeah, that came in last year. This was the first snow, though, we got to use it.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. And I think the wreaths look really nice downtown.
Thank you, yeah. We were able to purchase wreaths this year. I'm hoping for next year I'll have in the budget for an upgrade of the rest of the downtown, you know? Looks good.
Yeah, it does.
So, yeah, my guys did a great job. I joke with Barry, I tell him he's the official light hanger for the town, but, I mean, him and Frank Scarpati, a handful of other guys, they really do a great job when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I do not like hanging lights, but they get it done, and it looks nice. The train station, they did train station, the train station looks beautiful. I was coming into town tonight. It really came out nice, so.
Yeah, I remarked to the borough administrator today that can we put more wreaths on? And when he said, well, we've run out of money because of the prices, okay. You know, but next year, we're going to be putting in more money for, hopefully, in the budget to cover beyond the streets that we did this year.
Yeah, I would really love to get Broadway done and Hillsdale Ave maybe just as you approach the town, you know, in both directions. You know,
Yeah,
to
looks
really,
nice.
I got compliments from a couple young ladies in the audience. They said it really made the town look great. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys, happy holidays, have a great night.
Good, thank you, sir. Thank you, Billy. Okay, that completes the professionals report. I guess at this point, I'll entertain a motion. We have a resolution 19305 to provide for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of the New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act. We'll be discussing redevelopment, personnel matters, and contract negotiations. Do I have a motion? All in favor? All opposed? Okay, we'll adjourn to closed session, and then I estimate we'll be coming back at anywhere for 45 minutes to an hour. Thank you. And I need a motion to come back into open.
Motion.
All in favor? Okay. First order of business, I see there are two ordinances for introduction, but I think given the time frames to consider these, I think it's best if we pull ordinance 1917 and 1918. So unless someone has an objection, we'll move on to the resolutions on the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, could you quickly read these resolutions for us?
Resolution 19295 is a resolution designating time and place of the 2020 council meeting. Resolution 19296 is a resolution authorizing the endorsement of the 2020 Community Development Block Grant ADA compliant improvements at the Hillsdale train station. Resolution 19297 is a resolution authorizing the endorsement of the 2020 Community Development Block Grant ADA compliant improvements at Stony Brook Swim Club. Resolution 19298 is a resolution canceling small balances of tax refund and/or delinquencies of less than $10. Resolution 19299, resolution to authorize the contract for CDL Random Drug and Alcohol Testing Services contract. Resolution 19300 is a resolution hiring temporary snow plow laborers for the 2019-2020 winter season. Resolution 19301 is a resolution decreasing the price for the services of D&L paving for sidewalk improvements along Piermont Avenue, which is change order number 2. Resolution 19302 is a resolution increasing the price for the services of Balatano Contracting for additional work at Veterans Park improvements. This is change order number 1. Resolution 19303 is a resolution approving the purchase of an SH truck body and tow hitch for a 2019 Ford F-350 from the State of New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Program, NJSA 40A11-12A.
Okay, thank you. Do I have a motion? Would anyone like any of these pulled? Anyone like any of these pulled?
I have a question on one, so I guess so.
Go ahead.
19302.
19302, we'll vote on all of them except 19302. Do I have a motion? Second. Roll call, please.
Councilmember DeRosa?
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar?
Yes.
Councilmember Horvath?
Yes.
Councilmember Lundy.
Yes.
Council President Pizzella?
Yes.
Councilmember Sagala?
Yes.
Now, going back to 19302, your question.
Okay, my question is, the change order and the $3,800 increase, that's still covered by the grant and the matching grant? This is not any
No.
additional cost to the borough?
No, that is, if you recall, let me...
You'll have to come around here, just so you can record. No, get back to your mic.
Yeah, I know. So, if you recall, early in my tenure here, there was a crisis at the Veterans Park ceremony. What happened, it rained a couple of days, the guy that was, we did a purchase order for this guy to do the job. He bails out on us the last minute, we find out on Friday morning. Now that work for the walkway there was never part of the grant or the match from the American Legion. That was part, and it was going to be paid out of the road program, okay? And the money that you had. So what happened, Chris Satile and I spoke with D&L Paving. He showed up there on Saturday morning. He did the job. And then we had a nice ceremony with a proper-looking Veterans Park. I would point out to you, I think if we're looking at the D&L change order, their change order actually comes down. Is this the one where the D&L change order goes down or it goes up?
This is not for D&L, is that Dallas Contracting?
19302.
This change order is for Dallas Contracting.
19302, okay. This is
Dallas would also not be paid out of the grant. It would be paid out of a bond ordinance that we have or in place already. So there's no money that's going to the grant or the match from the American Legion.
I don't quite understand. I move the table this resolution. Just so we can all understand back.
Do I have a second on the table? Okay, all in favor of tabling this resolution?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, it's tabled, we'll take it up at another time. Okay. Before we move on to the off-consent items, can we do an approval of the minutes? All the minutes listed here, and there are 5, with the exception of the closed session minutes of October 23rd. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, Stephen.
I don't think I was here for one of them, so I'm abstaining.
You'll abstain from the whole batch? Okay.
I would have to.
So mark him as abstention from the whole thing, and it's a so. That brings us to the off-consent, R-19304, resolution authorizing the transfer of 2019 budget appropriations.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Escobar?
Yes.
Councilmember Horvath?
Yes.
Councilmember Lundy.
Yes.
Council President Pizzella? Councilmember Sagalas?
Aye.
Councilmember DeRosa?
Yes.
Okay. Resolution 19306, resolution authorizing the mayor and borough clerk to execute a memorandum of understanding on behalf of the Borough of Hillsdale with the Hillsdale Crossing Guard Association. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Horvath?
Yes.
Councilmember Lundy.
Yes.
Council President Pizzella?
Yes.
Councilmember Sagalas?
Yes.
Councilmember DeRosa?
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar?
Okay. Resolution 19307, a resolution authorizing the mayor and borough clerk to execute a memorandum of understanding on behalf of the Borough of Hillsdale with the Hillsdale Department of Public Works, Teamster Local 125.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilmember Lundy.
Yes.
Council President Pizzella?
Yes.
Councilmember Sagalas?
Yes.
Councilmember DeRosa?
Yes.
Councilmember Escobar?
Yes.
Councilmember Horvath?
Okay. This brings us to council commentaries. Does anyone have the strength to go through council commentaries tonight?
I will wait till next week.
Yeah, everyone is comfortable? Okay. Very,
Couple dates. Tomorrow night is tree lighting.
Yes.
In Veterans Park at 7 o'clock. And shop local for holiday gifts.
Is there a rain date on it?
No.
Thursday.
Is it? I think there was.
but it's not going to rain. It's going to stop raining and snowing at noon, and then it's going to be partly sunny.
Mr. Mayor, just to be safe, because the Hillsdale Helping Hillsdale Gift Drive ends on the 18th, may I just take a moment to remind those who are still awake watching our meeting that Hillsdale Helping Hillsdale is collecting new gifts for local families in financial need this December. If you have an unwrapped gift or a gift card that you would like to drop off at Borough Hall, please do so prior to December 18th. The more we help each other, the better we all can end up.
Thank you, Councilman. Okay, so since there's no other, we will delay committee reports till the next meeting, which is December 17th. If there's no other business, I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? We are adjourned.